going, everybody? We're back with some Draw Steel, a pact made in Amber. It's been a few weeks. We had some stuff going on. We had some trips. We had some holidays. We had some games. Some good times. So I hope everyone is ready to be back, because boy, I am. We're going to do a recap. I had to watch the last video to remember what the fuck happened. So we're going to do a recap because I'm assuming it's going to be helpful for everybody. Previously, on a pact made in Amber, the crew of the unfortunate Scorpion found themselves fighting desperately against the Ezkatuan, the indigenous goblins of Pouso, who the party had discovered were in cahoots with the Raiden Whites in a plot involving gunpowder and the destabilization of the city. It was a fierce fight, not just for survival, but in order to prevent the massive cache of gunpowder from being detonated. Fortunately, the crew, who were a little banged up from their previous encounters, were joined by Indiana Stones, an explorer, summoner, and auxiliary marine currently in the employ of the naval historian, which helped turn the tide, leading to the defeat and the flight of the remaining Ezkatuan. After some quick introductions and explaining the situation to the newcomer Indy, the crew quickly forged a little bit of a bond of camaraderie with the newcomer, quite conveniently, and set about arranging for the explosives to be safely handled before having to report the situation. And that's basically exactly what they had to do. In reporting this, they decided to bend the truth slightly, spinning a yarn of stumbling onto the gunpowder plot while investigating a warehouse fire, and then pinning the blame wholly on the Ezkatuan and leaving the Raiden Whites of Pouso out of the situation. The consul, who they were reporting to, Miriam Haruto, accepted the story at face value before informing the crew that their shore leave was up. And they were to report for their new assignments in 2 hours, because it was 4 a.m. After a brief breakfast aboard the Scorpion and getting to know one another, Indy, getting to know the crew getting to know Indy, etc., the party returned to the Naval Administration where the consul informed them of their new assignment. A naval patrol vessel, the Trapper, had put into a neutral port town known as Bejaqueta on the northern isle of Aquasierra. There, it was fired upon with cannon, and we kind of made a big deal about cannon so far in this game. It was able to retreat and return to Pouso, where it reported the event. The consul wants the party to investigate the issue, but unfortunately can spare no additional vessels as the Vice Admiral is currently gathering forces for the perceived threat that the Fulcrum presents. After an awkwardly tense conversation with the consul and the vice admiral, the party was given writs of reimbursement to recruit their crew up to force for the mission and given a deadline of 4 days. With the mission now set, the party dispersed to gather forces and information. Indy reporting to his superior, Meredith, Uvik seeking out Blackbird, Bansii seeking out Aurelia, and Higgins returning to the Scorpion to discuss things with the crew. And walking into the dockyards to do just that, Higgins witnessed
a murder most foul.
Several murders most foul, potentially. So, kind of setting the scene, right? No, bad music. Hold that thought. I was kind of setting the scene, right? The dockyards of the Navy are on this kind of like northwestern-ish peninsula within the bay here in Pouso, right? The actual dockyards themselves sit down on the kind of like beach area, the pier area, and there's this cobblestone road that curves around behind the dockyards, behind a bunch of warehouses, and kind of goes up this slight rise. There's a bunch of buildings and smaller roads that go off of the way as it kind of curves up the rise. And near the top of the rise, it's not really a hill, it's just a slightly elevated area. That's where the Naval Administration building is. That's where there's a naval fort under like half construction. There's a fully constructed wooden fort, and then there's a like it's being partially replaced with stone as a more permanent fortification, right? So that's at the top of the rise. So Higgins, you've walked down the main cobblestone thoroughfare in the Naval District and are at this curve as you hear and see the first cannon shot fire, and it echoes out over the city, just this cacophonous roar, quickly followed by a second and then a third, all three unerringly into the side of a vessel similarly sized to the Scorpion and quite close to it, just obliterating it, right? Like timber splintering, firing up into the air. The vessel begins to sink in seconds, right? Like you watch the cannonballs hit the vessel, and it is rent asunder and sinking into the waters of the bay in like the next 5 to 10 seconds. You can tell by the rapidity with which it is sinking that there's not going to be a vessel above water in the next 30 seconds. There are people jumping overboard. There are people on the vessel screaming. And you see a couple of other things. I want you to roll me a power roll, and we're going to see exactly how much Higgins notices. And I think due to your training, you're going to get a +2 on this. In addition to, do you have, you do not. I was going to say, do you have, awareness or anything like that? But you don't. So, you're going to get an artificial +2 for this just based on that. So you rolled a 12, +2 gets you 14. So that is a tier 2. So you're going to get a fair amount of information, but perhaps not all of the information that is there. In the, again, 15 to 30 seconds that follow, there are a number of things that you notice. The first thing that you notice is there's a lot of people on the docks right now. It is very early in the morning. It's maybe you were supposed to report at 6 a.m. It was a short conversation, and then you had to walk back here. It's maybe 6:45 at the latest. The naval docks are a busy location, but it does strike you as a lot of bodies in and around the dockyards at this exact moment, especially since you know from your prior investigations with Odysseus, right, that all of the non-essential personnel have basically been removed from the naval district. They've all been kicked out, right? So that's a lot less bodies that are normally around that aren't anymore. And there's a lot of people here. Second thing that you notice is there is a cart loaded up with like logs, wood, thatch, combustible materials that is on fire, that is pushed up against one of the nearby warehouses, and the flames are kind of like licking at the warehouse, and there are already several people. Again, this is seconds after those cannon have fired on that vessel. There are already a half a dozen or more people around this cart, like throwing buckets of water onto it to put out the flames and prevent it from catching on the warehouse, right? There are 2 people near the cart that are face down on the ground with soldiers atop them, like holding them down. In the seconds that follow the cannon hitting the ship, and you see people start going overboard, you can see from your kind of like slightly raised vantage point, because of the curvature of the road going up the rise, you can see down into the waters. There are people in the waters, like underneath the water. So as these individuals are diving off the ship, they are diving into people that are waiting for them. And a few moments after the cannon...
Real quick, the cannons were fired from the... Can't remember his name.
The Bulge, the Vice Admiral's flagship.
Yeah, Vice Admiral. Okay.
Yeah.
They're a few seconds after the cannons fire. The bells, there's warning bells in the city, right? You all hear in your various locales, you all hear, right, like this ringing of cannon fire, and then just a few moments later, right, like the preset alarms for contingencies for the city being under attack kick into gear, and bells throughout the city start ringing. Not 5 seconds after that, those bells stop ringing. Okay?
Okay. So all of this says this was premeditated, planned, worked out that they were going to hit this ship, and they had all the shit ready for when they did.
The last thing, suspicious or not suspicious, that you see is there is a man, maybe like 20 feet away from the cart, away from like the initial commotion, right? Standing near one of the piers, looks to be a vagrant, right? Like very rattly dressed, very dirty, unclean individual who you would have difficulty pointing out in a lineup, like just very plain features, right?
Okay.
Who is pointing and shouting, and it's hard initially. He's been doing this, he's been pointing and shouting, but it's hard initially to hear from the roar of the gunfire and the shouting of the people around the cart and the general hubbub and then the bells ringing. But as some of those things settle down in the seconds after the initial moment, right, you can hear him yelling something about the Fulcrum trying to sabotage the Navy. Just pointing at the warehouse and shouting this almost kind of like on repeat.
Okay. Remind me, who's the Fulcrum again?
The Fulcrum is another faction of Capital. The Fulcrum is basically the trade guild of... I say the trade guild. They're half trade guild, and they're basically the stock exchange of Capital. They're the people with the money.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
They are in an extreme rivalry with the Navy.
And he's pointing at a...
Why?
The why is politics of Capital. The prince died many years ago, not leaving an heir to Capital. And prior to his death, he promoted several non-noble factions to his privy council because he needed money because of other shit that was going on. One of those factions happens to be the Fulcrum. So they are a non-noble faction that is now one of the most powerful factions in Capital. And the city as it has been for several years now, has no singular ruler because the Privy Council or the small council cannot agree on who is to be the next prince.
So the best, greatest city in the world that ever will be and ever was has a seat of power, and we are now in a vacuum.
The greatest city,
vacuum that is wanting to be filled and hasn't been for years.
The greatest city of this or any age is on the brink of open warfare with itself and has been for a few years now.
Until someone puts their ass in that chair and
that is the
kicked off.
That is the politic. That is the great game of capital currently. Is that there is no prince. There are 7 primary factions that each believe they deserve to be the next prince, and that's that.
Got it. Okay.
So this General Nobody was gesturing towards a
warehouse. The warehouse that seemed to be being set on fire.
It is in the process of being set.
There's a cart that is lit aflame with a bunch of combustible materials that has been pushed up against it. And Higgins, you can see, right? Like, the cart is directly in front of the dock that the sunken vessel was docked at, right? That pier. So, presumably it came off of that dock.
From that ship? Okay. Wait, hold on. I think I'm getting things mixed up here. So, the warehouse belongs to the Fulcrum?
No.
Or the Navy?
No. This is all Navy. This is the naval yards. This whole place is the naval yards.
Okay. And this guy is yelling that the Fulcrum is trying to blow up the warehouse.
That the Fulcrum's trying to sabotage the Navy. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Higgins, you rolled a tier 2, plus I also don't think it is out of the realm of Higgins' background. It's all is extremely obviously suspicious.
Yeah, well, it seems absolutely made up that the Fulcrum did this in plain view. This seems like the Vice Admiral or someone like him trying to trigger.
The Fulcrum has avoided open warfare with any other faction in the Navy for several years now.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna go see if I can't push that cart away from the warehouse.
You're not there. You guys are gone. This is just Higgins. Yeah, you all split up to go handle because you gotta leave today. You have a time limit on your fucking mission.
Well, I teleport to the cart and I lift the whole cart and chuck it in the water.
That's way cool. I'm glad I'm not there.
Okay. All right.
You did make us heroes, Jeremy. Just saying.
And I just happen to be a 9-foot freaking tank of a rock person.
I'm gonna say roll me a might roll. Power roll with might. Let's see how this works out for you.
What is it +2 still?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's gonna be +2 because of his might.
Yeah. I'm as strong as that man.
All his feather. Culture lore benefit.
Don't Hakan have, like, aren't they like Goliaths? Don't they have the opportunity to, like, interact with objects with, like, great ease? But you have to take that, don't you?
Yeah, and I have it. Hold on.
You do have it? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm clicking all the things.
All is feather. You gain edge on tests made to lift or haul heavy objects. So an edge is another +2. So you're going to have +4.
So I've skilled in all his feather.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, no, it didn't fucking matter. That was a crit. Right? I mean, did I miss that?
No,
that's a crit. Okay, yeah, I
hurl that card.
I will. You can full on fucking Hercules, like, appear in a puff next to this fucking, like, startle a bunch of folk next to this fucking cart and literally just woof, and then heave it a solid like 20 feet into the waters
That's pretty awesome.
On the dockyard, right? And there's just stunned silence from the people around you. Even the guy who's like false flag shouting.
The paid actor.
The vagrant false flag shouting at things just like stops and his mouth just kind of like opens a couple times like he's still trying to say his bit, but no words come out. And yeah, like it's the situation. So a few more moments are passing as this is all happening. And you can see that there was a brief amount of fighting in the water, quote unquote fighting. It wasn't
Massacre
a fight.
in the water.
Right? There was a bunch of people who jumped off of a boat that got obliterated, and there's blood in the water now, and there's a few people being brought out of the water that are alive, but not many.
I feel bad for anybody in the water that was in or around a place where a giant flaming cart was just thrown in it.
That's a good point.
Well, you know.
I might have took a couple of people out.
He's like, I've seen you guys. Oh god, almost drowned. I got
Where the actual vessels are at is still another like he threw it into right there at the edge of the waters. The vessels are still out another like 20, 30
so I kind of
feet
guy
at
who's been
least.
swimming for a little
Yeah,
while.
Yeah, that one guy that was at like the fucking what's the point of the ship? I've lost it. I've forgotten it.
Prow.
The prow. There was the one guy at the prow who jumped off and got a good 10 feet dive and was gonna make it to shore, and then Higgins just takes him the fuck out.
Smoked with the car.
Yeah. So you can see, right, like whatever this was, it is going to be wrapped up in a matter of minutes at most.
Okay.
Without your involvement.
Interesting. I don't know what to do with this information because it sounds like the Vice Admiral wants this to happen, and he's in our chain of command. So I real quick do a scan, make sure all the Navy personnel around here are okay, and I poof out of there.
They seem fine. The last thing you notice right before you poof, that vagrant's gone.
Oh.
I should follow him. I'm gonna try and follow him. I'm gonna go over to where he was and see if I can track him.
He's... Do you have any sort of tracking skill?
I have...
You have...
Well, I have escape artist. What would I do if I was trying to get away?
You have a couple things. You have sneak, you have escape artist, you have criminal underworld, etc., etc. Ooh, oh no, I like this. You're gonna make me an intuition power roll, and I'm gonna give you a +2 on it.
Intuition. Am I skilled at the skill?
Yes.
Okay.
What the fucking question?
You're skilled at the skill. I'm not telling you which skill it is, but you're skilled at the skill.
Roll the dice. Yo, I came ready to roll dice tonight.
You came ready to roll.
Yeah.
You notice he's missing. You walk over close to where he is. You see nothing. You take 2 steps. Behind 2 nearby barrels, you see the smock that he had been wearing, right? Is just there, like gone off his body and laying behind the barrels. And then you turn, look, see 20 paces away is a guy in naval garb, but you see just like the back of his breeches are a little like smudged and dirty, right? Which is somewhat out of the norm for naval decorum, right?
Okay.
But very much matched the very dirty appearance of the individual.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start sneaking after him and freaking track his ass. Where's he going?
You watch him, or you follow after him as he walks down the dockyards. About 60 or so paces, turns onto the pier that the HED Volge is anchored at.
Okay. Got it. All right, perfect. I mean, that's pretty much all I needed to know. I don't know what I would question him. All right. I head back to the ship then, I think.
Heading to the boat. You find a couple of looky-loos on the Scorpion as your crew, as Ambrosio, Cella, Yoham, and Robert are. I say Yoham and Robert. Okay, Ambrosio, Cella, and Yoham are very clearly gawking at the situation. Robert is mopping the deck of the ship. Robert is like, don't know, don't care. But as soon as you show up, Ambrosio and Cella both are kind of like very excitedly like, oh, what's going on? What happened? Do you know what's going on? Do you know what's happening?
Do
we need to
know
move?
What's happening? I have an idea of what's happening. We should leave.
Yoham, you say we should leave. Yoham's like, yes, Captain. We got writs earlier for resupply. So unless you don't want to resupply, we're supposed to stay right here.
Shit. All right. Well, everybody, get ready to get embroiled in a civil war.
You just see like a myriad of different faces. You see Yoham or Cella kind of like Blanche, right? Like she does not like what has just been said. You see Yoham kind of like looking like contemplative about it, right? Has this somewhat suspicious look in his eye of like, what can I do about this? Or how can I make this a good thing for me? Right? Ambrosio just looks like super excited. Super excited.
Ambrosio's like, yeah, I love Civil War.
Any possible option for valor gets Ambrosio excited.
Is the rest of the party here as well, or is it just the crew right now?
It's just the crew.
Okay.
The rest of your party members have dispersed throughout the city because they're either trying to get information or trying to recruit people right now, because you all are supposed to leave before the end of day and get back within 4 days.
Okay. Just to check, how much do I trust our crew? Like, are these like people that we legit feel like have similar opinions as the party thus far? Or do we have like that one like super conservative dude that's like
I would say yeah,
I know
no.
COVID, right?
No, I don't think I've saddled any of you with the Republican version of Capitol.
all right, perfect.
No. So you have a pretty diverse crew. Ambrosio is extremely impressionable, and probably too into like the hero worship of battle and valor and the general like culture of Capitol. But he's a good guy, right? Like he's maybe not got his head on correctly, but his heart's in a good place. Cella's a kind-hearted individual. She's here pretty much just because she's got a big family and their business has kind of been going under and they can't afford to take care of themselves. So she's just here because she's trying to help her family. Robert, you don't know much about, but he is a solid fellow, keeps to himself. Yoham is a rogue, a rake. He is a smuggler. He is not a good guy, but where his issues lie is not going to be potentially an issue for you from a morality standpoint, right? It's perhaps the concern you might have is if you feel Yoham has debts. He's here because he has debts. If he feels like he can sell you out, then that might be a concern. It might not be a concern, but it might be a concern.
All right.
That would be the assessment that I think Higgins actually has in this moment. You know, having known these people for not an extremely long time.
I will roll the dice then, and I will swear the crew to secrecy and share that I believe the Vice Admiral might have just performed a false flag attack framing the Fulcrum for
Ambrosio
some arson and terrorism.
Ambrosio and Cella both share like looks of shock. They're aghast, right? Like that is wild to them. Yoham and Robert both make an almost identical grunt of like, yeah. Kind of
right.
figures. Right, like, not surprising. You know?
Obviously I don't have proof, but it was all a little too coordinated, and the individual yelling that the Fulcrum was behind the attack happened to immediately return to the Volge. After removing a disguise to make himself look like a civilian.
Yoham scoffs and says amateurs.
I don't know how that will affect us, or if it will, but figure it's best you all know.
Yoham asks, are we staying here? Well, we're resupplying. I'm assuming we're shoving out.
I mean, we're leaving soon. As soon as we finish with the resupply.
Hopefully it won't affect us at all.
We'll see. I have a bad feeling that they're going to commandeer all ships in the vicinity all of a sudden.
They wouldn't do that. Alright, let's jump around a little bit. Let's jump. Who wants to undertake their little operation, their little adventure to either find information or find people?
I don't remember what our mission is. I remember that I am going to find the devil lady to see if she's like willing to help, but I don't remember what we're going to do or why we're going to do it.
Gotcha. So recap on the actual mission. The actual mission is that a naval patrol vessel was fired upon from a neutral town in here, we'll flip over to the big map so I can point things out. So the a naval patrol vessel was fired upon from a neutral town up here from this big island, right? And Aqua Sierra, and returned to report it, right? And by fired upon, we mean they were shot at with cannon. And as we've stated previously, right, like in the adventure, the Navy is the only people with cannon, and according to the Navy, and they get real possessive over the existence of cannon. So one, this was a potential attack on the Navy, and two, this is also just a security concern, right? So they're sending you out to investigate, and specifically you've been charged with infiltrating this port town, finding out if there is a threat. If you can handle the threat, handle it. If you can't, report back so the Navy can take matters further.
But we were kind of told that this was likely a mission that would get us killed, right?
No. You were basically told you had a time limit in which to perform this mission, and if you didn't get back in time, the Vice Admiral would consider you deserters. And that would get you killed.
Oh. I think I misunderstood. I think, because I think I was like trying to find people who would be like willing to like go and fight with us to like, you know what I mean? Because I thought it was like a very, very, very dangerous mission.
Oh, well, sure. They did, the console gave you all basically like, not money, but writs of reimbursement to hire people because they were like, this might be more dangerous than your current crew can handle. So find some people, but get your asses out there and take care of this ASAP. So last time we played, you all had kind of decided, okay, well, the idea is to have two parties, right? A party of you and a party of retainers. You have Ambrosio counts as a level 1 retainer now, and you had the idea of going and maybe recruiting Aurelia. Jay had the idea of going and recruiting Blackbird, and then Mitch had the idea of just trying to promote one of your crew members into a retainer as well.
Yeah. I get now the strategy behind finding captains now, because we need to like be fast about it.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense. I was like, why are we doing that? Why aren't we like getting people that are willing to fight? I get it now. I get it. Yeah. I misunderstood the assignment.
No worries.
Okay, that sounds good.
It's been a few weeks. We're good.
Do you wanna take your shot at your little recruitment session, or?
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Okay. I would say.
I understand now why you guys were like, you want to go take the fire lady on a ship where we're going on a ship for a ship thing, and I was like, yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Let's bring the fire lady aboard.
I love fire on boats.
I love fire on boats.
That makes perfect sense.
Fine. Everything's fine. You're probably nearing the gates out of the naval district and into the upper district, right? Which is mostly like higher class merchants, etc., etc. You're probably about there when you hear the cannons ring out from the naval yards. And then you hear the alarm bells throughout the city. And there's a bit of hubbub because you're at one of the gates. So there's a bit of a commotion as the gates immediately start closing, right? And then just a few seconds after the bells start ringing, they stop ringing. And there's a bit of muddled confusion around you, right? And then the gates, which had been partially closed, are then reopened. And business seems to return to usual, right?
Can I eavesdrop a little bit and see if like I can hear what's going on?
Sure. What you got? Oh, you actually have eavesdrop. Oh,
yeah, I apparently rolled real low. Mitch has all the rolls today.
Mitch has all the good rolls today. Yeah, even with the +2 on your eavesdrop, I don't think that's gonna help you out with a 7. So, it's mostly, it's not that you, like, hear nothing. It's mostly just confusion. Like, no one knows what the fuck is going on. Like, here specifically, all you can suss out is that, cannon fire means there was an attack. They're supposed to ring the bells, and then someone told them, someone higher up told them, hey, it's fine. Stop ringing the bells, open the gates.
Okay. Do you guys remember if I took my makeup off or if I still look alive?
I think at this point it probably would have been a little jacked up from fighting several times.
Yeah, I think I took it off. I think I wiped it off when I was introducing myself. Okay, cool. I think my plan was to head back to the place where I donated the toys to ask her if she had seen or knew how to get a hold of her.
Yeah. So I think what we can kind of do here is, I think realistically, you have built enough of a little rapport with a couple of individuals in the city, right? The Town Watch, Uchronia, the kids, right? That your Aurelia is a person that sticks out like a sore thumb. If she's still in the city, you're going to be able to find her. It's just a matter of how quickly can you find her. So just roll me a power roll, and we're gonna give you a +2.
How about we ignore that roll?
No, it's fine. It's fine. You're getting them out now. You're getting them out now. This is
I was like,
there are no critical failures in this game.
There are no critical failures in this game, but 2 ones is...
I'm only rolling to find someone in the city. Clearly, I don't know my way around.
It's fine. It's fine. Hey, where's Bansii? Wait, we already discussed this. Bansii doesn't have to eat. She just eats cookies out of enjoyment.
She likes peanut butter.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna ask, where does Bansii decide to have lunch? Because this is gonna take her a while, but then I remembered she doesn't actually have to eat. So
how about she passes? How about she gets distracted? How about she passes an orphanage?
It's you're supposed to leave this evening. You're supposed to leave today. It's late afternoon before you manage to track down Aurelia.
Okay.
You find her in a seedy little bar in the lower district. Pretty obviously a couple of mugs in to whatever she is drinking. She kind of like looks at you when you approach her with this kind of like glassy-eyed look of like slow recognition before she's like, "It's you!"
Oh no. You're drunk.
Half drunk. Ish. Maybe 60%.
By chance, did you finish what you were going to do in the city?
Oh. That didn't quite work out. Which is fine.
Does that mean that you're a free spirit again?
I am always a free spirit. If you're asking, am I looking for coin? The answer is yes.
I'm asking if you're willing to join up with our crew. Maybe be in a little danger.
Permanently?
It would not.
I have no interest in enlisting in the Navy.
You wouldn't be enlisting, but you would be helping us on our mission.
She burps with this really like big belch that kind of like produces a sulfurous smell. For compensation?
Yes.
I mean, unless you're just wanting to hold out on her, you were given writs of reimbursement by the consul to basically hire mercenaries.
Yeah. So I'll just say yeah.
What are we doing?
There's something about a ship that
You see,
shooting other ships.
her,
I don't know.
her eyes kind of narrow and they lose a little bit of their glassiness, and she doesn't seem to be listening to you. She's looking intently at you. Question for you, Bansii. Where's the amber rod?
It's in my pack. I still don't have it.
She's looking through you to your pack.
Oh,
like
interesting.
Her eyes are like slightly unfocused to where she's like very clearly not looking at you. It's like she's looking through you to your pack behind you.
Do I notice that?
Yeah.
Or am I just
Oh yeah, you notice it.
I'll shift the pack behind me and see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, you see her eyes kind of like track. And she kind of notices you do that and says, slightly slurred, she says, "What's that you got there?"
A magic weapon that tries to control people. Are you interested in being controlled?
Not in the relationship we currently have.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I was just curious. It's exuding a stench.
Yeah, as a side thing, I'm trying to figure out who's handing these out, because I think they're being handed out to many people. Do you have any interest in helping me with that too?
I have many interests in being paid.
You haven't. What would you repeat that? Sorry.
She's basically apparently hard up for money at the moment.
Okay. That one would be free. I'm just investigating that on my own. But the other gig to help out about the cannons and the ships and that is paid.
That I'm interested in.
So let's go.
Right now?
Yeah, like right now.
Okay. She stands up and she has like half a mug left. She stands up, grabs the mug, downs the remainder of it, slams it on the table, and is like, "Lead the way." Kind of sways behind you.
40% in.
Yeah. As you exit the establishment, she gives you a quick pat on your back. And looking over at her, you see there's no glassiness to her eyes at all. She's standing straight and she says, "We should probably go." And she starts jogging down the road as you hear shouts coming from the tavern.
Oh my god, she didn't pay. I turn around and ask how much she owes.
1 million gold.
You turn around, you don't see, like, you look into the tavern, you don't see the proprietor of the tavern shouting. You see a woman who has come down from upstairs shouting.
Shit. I turn around and I jog after her.
Okay.
Who's that?
Oh, just some company.
Some company you owe?
Owing is just a matter of opinion.
somebody
I think
who's
she
going
owes
to-
me. She's like she has gone from like jogging into like a bit of a run, and she's like yelling back over her shoulder at you.
Yeah, and I'm yelling up at her. Somebody who is now going to feel that I owe them too.
How would she know you?
I stand out.
I understand the sentiment.
Okay, we'll see how this goes.
I also seem to remember, Bansii, you had some interest in procuring potions.
I did. Yeah.
You did.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So if you are interested in that,
Did I find those before I found her?
No. It can happen throughout the day. But we're gonna have a little bit of a haggling roll here. Roll me a power roll.
I'm terrified.
You
Can't
got
be
it.
worse than the last one. But still not great. We
It's not.
continue.
It's not worse. It's not worse. So things like magical items are not so pervasive in this world that they are commonplace. Outside of Capital and a few other places are kind of like different stories. But out here in Little Ix, you can't just like walk into a shop and be like, I'm gonna buy that magic sword, right? I'm gonna buy this extremely potent magical item. That's not how this world works. But things like healing salves, the world itself has enough mundane magic, right? Like ambient magic, like just the pervasiveness of magic in the world exists enough to where things like healing salves or healing potions might not be commonplace, but they can be found in most places. The issue is how much they're gonna cost you and how many you will be able to find.
Okay.
So, with that roll, you will be able to procure 2 healing potions
And they're gonna cost you all your gold.
if you sacrifice your current 1 wealth.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. All right.
We're all gonna be so broke.
Yeah, it do be the way of things. All right. Bansii is. Y'all need to get paid. That's what needs to happen. Y'all just need to keep working until you get paid. Bansii is now at -1 wealth, so at 0 wealth. But the party has gained 2 healing potions. I'll notate that. Anything else that you wanted to try to take care of, or are you feeling like you have accomplished your mission, Bansii?
I've accomplished my mission.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
All
From what I remember, I'm still inside the building, right? Going to
You
the
never
researcher.
left. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Easy
what was
peasy.
I supposed to be doing there? I was going to ask her something about the port town, but I don't remember what.
I believe you had 2 main goals. The first was just to inform her that you are leaving her
Reassigned, yeah.
employ, basically. Which is mostly just a polite detail, not necessarily a requirement. And the second was, you were looking to just garner information on your heading, right? Beheketa being a kind of neutral port town, not being a naval occupied location, it being on Aqua Sierra is kind of like, that's one of the less established islands. It's the most naturally hostile island, I would say, perhaps. And when I say naturally hostile, I literally mean like the forces of nature. So I think you were just looking for information to help provide context for what you all were getting yourselves into, perhaps.
Okay. And I have one more question. How are we paid as mercenaries? Are we paid per job completed, or are we paid like weekly or
You're
whatever?
basically you're all technically auxiliary marines, so you receive a paycheck from the Navy, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So in theory, when there is not a military engagement going on, um, because during a military engagement, the way things are paid out is different. But when you're just doing your normal day-to-day duties, which this counts as, you just receive a paycheck every like 2 weeks. So
Okay.
it's just
Cool.
a matter of time for you all to be like, ah, I got a little bit of money. And that's it.
Sounds good. All right. And then the researcher's name, what was her name again? It was
Meredith.
Captain or
Uh,
Captain
so
Meredith.
so she's not a captain. She is the de facto, like, the highest naval historian here in Pouso. The Navy as a military organization is pretty strict, pretty stringent about the documentation that they keep. Capital as a whole is sometimes referred to as a city of papers, right? Because the
Okay.
amount of documents in the place for literally everything is just astonishing. And the Navy is no different. They keep track of every expenditure, every person on the payroll, every mission that's undertaken, everything that they encounter, yada yada yada. And all of that information goes through the archivists, which are under the purview of the naval historians, right? Because the naval historians then take all of that archived information and they write the official naval histories for it. So she's basically the head paper pusher, but at the same time, she is specifically here in Little Ix because she is an archaeologist, right? She is
Right.
she's an archaeologist, a botanist, a naturalist. She's super into learning anything and everything that she can about the archipelago. So she does all of the administrative paper pushing or archiving for the Navy here in Pouso, but she also is here because she wants to catalog new species and learn about the peoples of the archipelago, etc., etc.
Gotcha. Okay.
You would have had a couple of encounters with her at this point, being under her employ. And when I say under her employ, she's probably got like 20 or 30 Marines or auxiliary Marines, not just like scribes and archivists. She has a small army of those. She's got probably
Right.
20 or 30 Marines that she sends out on little missions, right? Go collect me this thing. Go talk to this person for me, or go find this thing. Or even, like, there are vessels under the order of the naval historian that map the coastline, right? The cartographers report to her as well. So
Got it.
yeah. So you've met her a couple times. She is a scatterbrained older, who is kind of like the quintessential, like, nerd stuck in a book kind of thing.
Gotcha. Similar to myself. All right. All right. So I'm making my way down, and then there's the explosion. Correct?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would hear probably, actually, I think because everyone else had to travel quite a bit further. You would have made it to the archives in
Prior to it.
2
Got it.
minutes, right? So you probably
Yeah.
would be already mid-conversation with Meredith before either of you hear the cannons go off.
Got it.
So when
Alright,
you make your
so-
way to the archive, it's basically just like this massive library, right? And I do mean massive. It's pretty fucking huge. But it's also I don't know that everyone would know this, but you would know this because you've seen this particular archive that you will be going to is not actually the Naval Administration's library. That's literally adjacent. It's across the hall from where you're going. And the Naval Administration's library is neat and well kept and has librarians. The archive is a place of utter chaos with books and sheets of paper and 15 people running around like chickens with their heads cut off as Meredith shouts random things at them. As every like minute and a half, something new will pop into her head and she'll like pop off with a, "You, get me blah blah blah." And they're just trying to accommodate her.
Okay. Well, before I get to Meredith, I'm going to stop by the library and ask them to pick up either books or documents or something that has the culture, history, map of the region, religions, monsters of the area
you
around.
Put in an order for like
yeah.
Okay.
And
they'll basically tell you if you tell them you're gonna go have a conversation, they'll be like, "We'll get it. Be done in 20 minutes."
Got it. Sweet. And then, I'll go across the hall, speak to Meredith, see if she needs me to report anything about my mission.
Walk into the archives, and it is another day in the archives. There is a massive, like, circle of... I've been brought food. There's a massive circle... Oh, no, I'm going to have to stuff my face. Yay! There's a massive circle of books in the center of the archives. You see a bunch of lecterns, which is where the archivists or scribes are normally, like, seated at while they're writing things. A bunch of these lecterns have been shoved out of the center of the archivist room, the archivist library. And this big circle of books has been created. You see Meredith, this 3.5 foot tall polder, very brown, curly hair lady, really big, like the quintessentially nerdy, like circular Coke bottle glasses on her face, is plopped down in the middle of this circle. And you see a bunch of like books that have been shuffled around in the circle. And she has this map of the archipelago of Little Ix in front of her that it's not like she has drawn a map. This is actually a map made by the cartographers of the Navy. And she is making notes on it and reaching for a book, reading through a thing, making notes on it, reaching for a book, reading through a thing, making notes on the map. Rinse, repeat.
Impressive. Well, I'll try to grab her attention. Meredith! I'm waving my hand at her.
How hard do you try to grab her attention?
Well, as I approach, I'll yell her name, and if she still doesn't do anything, I'll like wave my hand in front of her face a little bit.
You have to, you yell her name, doesn't respond. Kind of like try to get her attention, doesn't respond. As soon as you step across the threshold, like of the circle of books into the bubble, right? Her head snaps up, like unnaturally quickly, snaps up, and her eyes are narrowed, like she's offended or angry, and then her eyes widen, and she goes, "You're the one! You didn't die!"
Huzzah! That's always a good thing. You thought I would die?
There's always a chance.
I suppose that's true.
It's always a good thing.
But anyways,
every time one of you comes back and you haven't died.
I like to be alive, so yes, it's a good thing.
Oh yes, that's great.
But
more importantly,
I know you.
Did you get the maps? Did you map it?
I mean, as much as possible. There was goblins down there and a bunch of gunpowder underneath the walls, and we had to clear out quickly.
Gunpowder?
Yeah.
I didn't send you for goblins and gunpowder. I sent you to make a map.
I know. I know, but there was goblins and gunpowder underneath the walls and the tunnels.
You just had to touch it.
Okay, and?
Well, real quick.
The and is it didn't explode.
Yes, it didn't explode. But let me get this out real quick, and I'll jot you down the map real quick while you also help me get information, or find
Information on
someone to help
what?
me out because I know you're. Well, I've been reassigned. And I gotta go to Heketa and Aquacera. Yes, I gotta go to Aquacera to the
On whose
town of
authority?
Heketa. The captain, the wardens. What's
The
her rank again?
consul.
Warden, consul. Yes.
Oh, the consul.
Consul's. Yes. So I gotta go to Heketa and Aquacera. So I need information, the most recent information about the status of that region, and Heketa specifically,
Hey, that could
and
be interesting.
any contacts you might have.
Okay,
Yeah.
she turns. She turns her back on you and reaches for like 3 books and pulls them open, flips them open, and is now not listening to you.
I sigh and pull out my own sheet, or find my own sheaf and quill, and jot down the tunnels underneath that I've explored.
Just like making these little maps of the metal that you remember.
Yeah.
You start doing that, and she's silent for about 5-6 minutes or so, and then suddenly excitedly hops up, spins around, unfurls this sheaf of paper, this scroll that she's basically been doodling on, and it is on one hand cartoonish, and on the other hand weirdly specific and detailed, in that she has jotted a map of the area around Beheketa, right? So it's this, there's a fucking geological terms. There's a bay, or maybe it's better to call it a sound, right? On this section of Aqua Sierra, the greater island as a whole. And what she shows you, right, is that this quote unquote port, this little town that has been described to you very briefly, or told to you as a thing, isn't a town at all. It's as she has detailed it to you, it's a disparate series of settlements, probably like half a dozen to a dozen, little settlements all throughout this sound that are not necessarily one group, right? It's not one faction, it's not one group. It's a bunch of different like explorers or settlers or adventurers who have all come and decided, hey, this is the place we're going to post up. But not being one group, they all decided, okay, well, we'll plot down here on this portion of the sound. Oh, we're going to plop down over here on this portion of the sound, etc., etc. And so it's a interestingly detailed, if cartoonish, map that she's kind of drawn. And above it, she's got these arrows kind of like pointing out. It's like, danger, danger, danger. And she's just got like arrows pointing in all these different directions to these different dangers. And rather than kind of like really roleplay how scatterbrained and wild Meredith can be, over the course of, the next 20 to 30 minutes, she will detail to you basically a lot of the issues with Aqua Sierra and why it's currently the least habited, the least settled of the 4 major islands. So the first thing that she will point out is that the northern part of the island is the closest to the Great Maelstrom, right? So I actually we have some maps. I made some documents for people. Let's see if I can actually do this correctly. So this is how do I do this? Present to players. So this is the map that you are all on right now, but hopefully that makes it show up in your journal now so that you can reference it whenever you want to.
Oh, nice.
And there's a little key down there at the bottom right, like things listed in green are theoretically allied locations, yellow is theoretically neutral, red is theoretically hostile. And then blue and white are just kind of like either terrain or the name of a place that doesn't have like a neutrality or alliance factor, you know? So anyways, there's that, and then there's also this that hopefully will also show up in your journals. So this is the map of Orden as a whole. So referencing this, you can see using the key, right? Number 2 on the key, those little islands below that massive whirlpool, that's Little Ix, right? Like, that's the archipelago that you all are at. That's what has recently, you know, in just the last 2 years, appeared south of the Great Maelstrom. And the Maelstrom is this immense whirlpool in the Bansii, stationary, has existed for as long as people can remember, historically thousands of years, perhaps longer, and it constantly sends out massive storms, and those storms just rail the northern coast of Aqua Sierra. So Meredith will describe to you that island, the Aqua Sierra, is basically, it's not uninhabited, but it's the least inhabited because the entire northern section, you can't live there. The entire northern section of the island is almost entirely stripped of vegetation because the winds and the rain that comes out of the Maelstrom is so constant and so fierce that it basically just strips everything down to rock, down to barren rock. And there is a mountain range running kind of across the spine, the middle of Aqua Sierra. And so...
North-south?
Yeah, well, east-west, right?
Okay.
And so it makes it so that you would think the southern half might be better, but in fact, the southern half, any of the rain that crests over the mountains that divide the island just deluges down that side of the mountains into the southern half of the island. And so it's just massive wetlands, horrific climate, right? There's vegetation at least, but it's the worst. It's Louisiana. It's the bayou.
Marshy and swamp.
It's terrible, right? And that's the kind of like the southern half of Aqua Sierra. The places that you do find some settlements are on the east and west of the island, primarily in little inlets like here where Behekata is, and then down here, and then over on the east side as well. A couple of little small places that are removed enough from the storms that are coming off of the Maelstrom, and not in the path of the deluge that comes out of the mountains to create the swampy terrain. So you get a couple of clusters of nicer-ish places to live. And with that, if I can remember to do this correctly, uno momento, let me drop this bad boy on here. We can add to the map. So, boom. We've got Behekata, or Beheketa. I say it wrong over and over and over again. Has been added to your map. So
Bihakita?
So Bihakita. So that's the general information about the island as a whole. Insofar as you get a pretty decent map of the sound, of where the actual location is. I do not have that for you. I apologize. I started making it, and then I was like, wait a second. I am not actually good at making maps, and I don't actually know how this all fits. Fuck me. Palace Theater of the Mind. But you do get a little bit of information from her about like the indigenous, the wildlife. There's not a lot of indigenous peoples. They haven't met a lot of indigenous peoples on Aqua Sierra. There are some in the southern sections, which is another reason why there's not a lot of like settlements from the colonists there. And there's not a lot on the east or west sides. and they don't know why. But Meredith tells you she thinks the reason is because there's a shit ton of monsters on the east and west coasts of the island. And by monsters, she starts referencing things like chimeras and wyverns and thorn dragons and shit like that. Which, right, like,
That's
might
fun.
not
Let's go
mean a
there.
lot to general people, but from like people in the know, which I think you would probably at least have like a little bit of information. This is like talking about not ghouls and goblins, right? Like it's not ghost stories. These are very real threats that don't exist generally in civilized, like cities or things like that, but are absolutely things that people out in the country have to deal with. But the things that she is describing are pretty nasty versions of those types of things. Which might explain why there's not a lot of indigenous activity on the west and east coast of the island.
Gotcha.
As far as the settlement goes, she's able to kind of like notate that there's probably like 6-ish different prominent small settlements that make up what the Navy refers to as Beheketa. But like she said, they're not actually like one unified front. It's a bunch of different like little individual settler households or families or things like that. There is one place that she'll point out that is like a larger central market where traders come and people in the area. That's where they'll actually like trade goods and things.
Okay. And I would like to ask her. I ask her, where would they store cannons? Because that's one reason we're going there. They were told the Navy ship was fired upon.
They can't have cannons. They're not allowed to have cannons.
That's why I got assigned to go out there.
How would they have cannons? Where would they get cannons?
I don't know. Who would know? Is there a contact out there that might know it? Like, do we have anybody out there?
That's bad. That's real bad.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said.
No, I don't think we have any. We have no no one stationed in that area. I don't have a contact. I don't have a contact. Do I have a contact? I don't have a contact. No.
Whisper, is there an intelligence network here? Maybe they can put me in touch with somebody?
Intelligence!
Yeah, military intelligence, oxymoron,
No, yes, there is. Realistically, yes, there is. Realistically, will we be able to get you... When do you have to leave?
Tonight.
No.
And be back in 4 days.
Ooh. You need to leave.
Yeah. I agree. I just need the information.
If the console didn't give it to you or authorize you to talk to those people, then I can't imagine that that's going to happen today.
Yeah, I guess why would they send us out there if they had intelligence people out there too?
Oh, maybe that might
That's
be a good
true.
point, but
Yeah.
I would assume... I don't know. I don't like not knowing.
Yeah, me neither. Okay. Well, is there anything else I should know? I should really get out of here. We need. Oh, can I get any supplies? As a former person of your group, is there any supplies I can get to?
You want some paper? I
help?
got ink.
Ink? Is there any like requisition slips we can get to maybe get supplies like food and potions or?
You'll be getting resupplied for the mission already. But if you're just trying to see if you can weasel something out of Meredith, maybe power
Yes.
roll.
Okay.
Let's see how much she likes you.
Evidently not much.
She says, "Wait, I don't understand. If you're being sent on a mission, you should be being resupplied. Are they not resupplying you? You'll have to
I
talk
don't
to the
know.
quartermaster for
It's
that.
not
I
much.
can't do anything about it. I'm
Okay.
sorry."
Okay. All right. Thank you.
What?
I know you're busy.
My map!
What? Oh, here it is. I picked it up off the table and
No, not this map.
it to her.
My new map.
What map?
She hands you that kind of like weird, cartoony
Oh,
drawing
thank
of
you.
the sound, and she's like,
Yes.
"Make this better.
I will.
You're going
attempt
there.
my
Make it
best.
better."
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, bye.
Anything else?
And she turns
Oh,
away.
bye.
She plops back down in her circle and is back to scribbling on the big map of the archipelago.
All right. Turn around. I return to the library.
Yeah. So you return to the library, and they have a better map available for you than the cartoon drawing that she has created. But you can see already, right? Like looking at the better map, there's things that she has on her little like cartoon drawing that are left out of the kind of like more mappy version that the cartography guild has. Like she is able to glean from her research things that they didn't notice or didn't think to put on the map or stuff like that. So it's kind of like a scenario of like referencing both might get you more information than referencing one would type scenario. And then they get you. They're basically again paper pushers. They get you a census. As
Nice.
it's not a census. It's not actually a census. It's a general estimate of the amount of people in Beheketa, which is there's supposedly just over 100 by their last count. So it's a very small place, right? Like we're talking to like not even really a town here. Sorry to all those people who grew up in a place with less than 100 people in it. So we gotta get that going on. But really, there's not a whole lot of other information that you didn't already get from Meredith, right? There's a couple of reports of various creatures that have been sighted, of the weather patterns, and issues with settling on Aqua Sierra, etc., etc. The only other thing that you might get is from them is there is a report amongst the papers that they hand you of pirates, potential pirates that were sighted off of the fuck, what's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's this island over here.
Okay.
But it's potential, not sure if it's credible or not.
Awesome. Well, I take what I received, the documents and whatnot, and I guess start walking towards the dock.
Sure. Okie dokie.
At what point would the explosion happen? Did it happen while I was talking, or?
If it happened, it seems to have been muffled where you were.
Copy.
You get probably about halfway down the hallway out of the administration building before a scribe, kind of panting, comes running down the hallway, holding a scroll, and it's like, wait, can you sign this?
Yes?
And you see it's actually like, it is a written out, fuck, what's my brain is dying. It's not a contract, but it's a written out notice that you have been reassigned, basically. And it's just asking, the scribe is just asking you to like notify that this is accurate, like this is what's actually going on. Because Meredith like talked to you, but she didn't actually do any administrative work.
Got it. Oh yes. Oh sure. I look it over, make sure it's what it's supposed to be, and then I'll sign it.
Everything seems accurate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
He sighs, kind of like says good luck, and turns to go about his
Alright.
business.
With Meliodas, you need it more.
Okay. Higgins or Uvik? Who's the next to try to do their thing?
I do it.
You hasn't
Do
done
what?
a thing yet, right?
I
You have to do your thing.
I can do a thing.
Do a thing.
Okay. I make my way to whatever address that Blackbird gave us on our departure.
You make your way
Making
to
my way-
the fuck. Ow.
Walking
Uh
fast.
you make
Face
your way
fast,
to
walk
the fuck, what is that called? My brain has just shot itself in the foot. Not triage.
And I need you.
It's basically the equivalent of the naval hospital here in Pozo. But there's a term that I was looking for, and I don't remember what it is. But it's basically, there's a large building that is actually a hospital, and then adjacent to that are a bunch of smaller buildings that are basically like barracks for recuperating individuals and stuff like that. You're able to track down Blackbird, who is currently residing in one of these buildings. And when you find her, she doesn't have a caste. They don't necessarily do castes in the way that we would think of them. But her basically her right leg, I think it's her right leg, is
A leg.
is splinted and bound. And she kind of like perks up, and I gotta do this. This isn't gonna mean anything to Mark, and it might not mean anything to anybody else because we might not remember what Blackbird actually looks like. But in preparation of doing all this stuff, I had to remake things because of the way the system works. I couldn't just like transfer the existing stuff, the existing character sheets and things like that into what I was remaking for the retainers. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time, so I lost the Blackbird artwork. So Blackbird is no longer what she previously was. Blackbird is now this lady. So she got a little bit of a makeover, and is now a woad elf, because I thought that was more interesting. So,
Okay.
You see Blackbird, who
Some
is
big ears. She part bat.
Yeah,
That's rude.
what you got against
rude.
bats? What's wrong with bats?
How wooed.
I have a lot of things against bats. For
You
future
got a
reference.
lot of nerve talking shit when you looking at your party right now.
I have very normal-sized ears. Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's just the ears. Everything else is fine, right? It's just the ears that's the problem. So yeah, you find Blackbird, who is currently sitting in a cot, basically her legs up, and she's just reading. And she sees you come in, and she's like, "Oh, Uvik, hi, how are you doing?"
Hey, the better question would be how you're doing. How's that leg treating you?
Oh, it's it's fine. She kind of gestures over, and you see right next to the bed, leaning against the wall, is a crutch. She says, "I'm supposed to use this for another 2 weeks, but really, I think it's a little overblown."
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's been it's been a little bit more exciting for me than it has you, I believe. And for the sake of time, I'll just kind of like fade out, fade
you
in,
hear
explain
cannon
the
fire interrupt your conversation. Has it been more exciting for you? You hear the alarm bells start ringing.
Now what? God damn it.
She kind of like looks around. There's not a lot of people in here.
I'll, like-
There's a couple of people in beds, but this is mostly like a recuperation area, not really like a medical emergency area. This is where they put the people
Yeah, I
that
was
have
about to say,
already been
am I looking
treated.
at people like
No, no.
fleeing? Or...
No. There's a couple of people who like perk up and like look confused, and then the alarm bell stops ringing.
Oh yeah, all right. I'll like crane out a window, see if I can like see what. Is there any like visual?
There's a couple of people around and about that obviously look a little confused about what's going on, but there's no like panic or people like running around freaking out.
All right, that's gonna be a later problem. Anyways, yeah. So you mentioned that I should stop by whenever we got orders and we're heading out, and we've received orders. We're going to head out.
Yeah, interesting.
Miriam herself handed down some things that she'd like us to do. And we're leaving as soon as we resupply.
First name basis with the console, eh?
Nope, not when I'm talking to her. That's behind her back.
She snickers at that, right? Like nods. That's fair. So is this just a courtesy?
Well, I mean, so all right. Here's the here's the deal. There was a naval vessel that was sustaining cannon fire in a town on the west side of Agua Sierra, and we have been told to go investigate it.
That's potentially pretty serious.
If we find out what the problem is, we're supposed to take care of it. If we can't take care of it, we're supposed to come back, get back up. It's supposed to be a 4-day thing, in and out. That's it. So,
she asks you.
I kind of like.
She asks you, "What's your escort?"
Our escort is taking the Scorpion.
You're being sent on a mission that potentially involves cannons being fired at one of our naval vessels, and it's just your ship?
Yeah. It's supposed to be just investigatory. Not supposed to. It's like low profile, you know? We're really good at being low profile.
Right. She remembers
think
as
trying
you
to kill
rolled up into the settlement she was posted at that was under attack and basically just ripped through the jungle. Low profile.
Low profile.
Yeah.
And look, I would be remiss if I didn't throw out the opportunity, but I see that the doctor would probably not be happy with this, but we were given...
she stands up on the leg. She says, screw the doctors.
We have been given the opportunity to ask people to join us in this. All right.
I'm unassigned. My post no longer even exists. They were just gonna wait 2 weeks until I was cleared, and then they were gonna.
We're leaving as soon as we're restocked. If you want to go, you're welcome to come.
Let's go.
Hell yeah!
Give me a. Ooh. You don't have anything for this.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna say give me a power roll, but I'm gonna give you a -2 on this. You're gonna have a Bane on it.
Minus. All right.
Yeah.
18s are fine.
Oh, it hovered on that 10 for a long time.
I saw it. That happens in D20 all the time too.
You didn't roll
D20,
snake
roll
eyes.
20.
Nothing to be upset about.
Yeah, she seems very excited to come along. So yeah, you see, right, like she gathers a few things. She does take that crutch and she does use it, right? It's clear that she can move about on that leg, but there's probably like some soreness, some tenderness, and she's probably just trying to be cautious about it, right? But it's also clear that she can move on that leg. It just might not. She might be like pressing herself if she does.
The moment calls for it, she can use it. But if the moment does not call for it, you might as well give it a little baby.
She asks if you need to go or if you have time to like accompany her.
Oh no!
So she basically
explosions
heads
aside, I think we're good.
She heads over to a nearby building that is basically one of several storage / quartering buildings, and basically retrieves some of the gear that she had to, put in storage. And then she heads with you to the Scorpion.
Hell yeah.
Higgins, are you attempting your promotion mechanics prior to the journey being undertaken, or are you gonna wait until you all are out to sea before you try to press gang one of your people into being a retainer?
I mean, I guess I don't know how quick the process goes. Can I does it take a day and boom, they are one? Or
no? So reiterating kind of like what I described last time is that from a technically, right, from a mechanical standpoint, your crew members, other than Ambrosio, who has gone on like a little mini adventure with you, mechanically, your crew members are sailors, right? So they have the appropriate stats for sailors rather than retainers or soldiers or anything like that, right? But that is not to say that they don't have their own histories, they don't have their own backstories. That's not to say that a man like Robert or a woman like Chella ain't done some shit in their lives and couldn't fight if necessary, right? But just from a mechanical standpoint, they have the sailor stat block or the civilian stat block because that's what they are in the Navy, right? So it's kind of this concept of if you go to one of them and you're like, hey, we have this writ of reimbursement, basically you're getting extra pay on this mission, but you're more than a sailor on this mission. And if they accept, then it's like, oh, I can show you my true form, right? Type thing. But otherwise, they don't have any incentive to do that at the moment because they're not paid to do it.
So I mean, thinking about what we're currently recruiting, we got the succubus chick who shoots fire everywhere, right?
As far as you know, yeah.
We got who did Indy recruit? Did Indy recruit someone? I missed that part.
No. You have Ambrosio, who's swashbuckler, basically. Right? You got Aurelia, who is fire-ish. You got Blackbird, who is she's an archer, right? But she has some martial training, right? And then you have a fourth slot that you were considering promoting. You said you wanted to turn Yoham into a shadow, is what you said. But,
yes, that was my intention, my initial plan, but I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't like something that we need. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna stick with just making Yoham another shadow, and we're just gonna bamf around stabbing things.
Okay, you approach Yoham. Tell me how it goes.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna roll up. We obviously have had some a friendship for a while now because he's my criminal contact that I've been working with for a while. Wait, no. What was the basis again? We knew each other from something.
I'm not sure you two knew each other before this, but
Or if we just,
in the time
bonded.
that you have known each other, you have both sussed out that you both have that kind of like history, right? Like being in the criminal world, and you like game recognizes game kind of scenario where you're like, okay, we both run in the same circles. We can like work together, hash things out, do, you know. He knows that you can do some things for him. You know he can do some things for you, etc., etc.
All right. Well, okay. Then I'm just gonna roll up to him, be like, Johan.
Hey!
We have a writ of reimbursement for some extra work. You want to make some money?
I always want to make some money.
Perfect. I
What's
want
the
you
work?
to gain some new skills.
What are we doing?
I'm gonna teach you some interesting skills, and you are going to work with me on some interesting work.
You keep saying interesting rather than just telling me what's happening.
Because it's easier to just show you than tell you.
Okay, but what's the writ of reimbursement gonna be specifically for?
We're gonna go bring back or destroy what is thought to be some cannons.
Okay, what am I
and
doing?
You're stepping up.
What does that mean?
Thing. I need you to gain more skills that are combat oriented.
No.
And I'm going to teach
No.
you those.
No. Absolutely not. No.
Okay, bye. I'll walk away.
Really? You just like you just.
If he doesn't want to learn them, I'm not going to try and force him.
All right, fair enough. Roll a power roll for me. You have reperson. It's yeah, this is totally a reperson.
Power roll. Oh, well, I didn't pick anything. Was it supposed to be like an intuition? Doesn't matter because I roll like a god tonight.
You do roll really well tonight, so yeah.
So add a 3 to that.
Yeah, he's like so okay. I hesitate to use this word. And the reason why I hesitate to use this word is because I think it maybe gets thrown around a little too much. But also, I hesitate to use this word because of the nature of the culture of capital. Because in capital, this word is far more insulting than what I think we would generally think of today. But he's a coward, right? This man is a smuggler. He is a criminal, right? He's a card shark and a thief. He is here because he had some serious debts come back on him. That it was either do this or hang from the gallows or worse, right? But there's a reason why he is just a sailor and not a soldier. A soldier is a higher paying position than a sailor is. In this kind of like regard, in this kind of like environment. He could be making more money for settling his debts, doing something else. There's a reason he's not. Right? Like, that's not to say that when the chips are down, when push comes to shove, he wouldn't be able to fight. He's probably fought before. He probably would be able to do so again. But he's not the kind of man that would willingly choose to fight.
That's fair. I instead choose to train my shadow to become a shadow.
You choose your shadow to become a shadow? Oh, God.
No, I mean, so otherwise we have, if we want to go the route of training someone that's on the ship, we have Robert, we have...
Robert and Chella are
what's
the
her
only
name?
other two.
Chella. Don't know shit about Robert. I think Robert has grunted at me twice the whole time.
I mean, that conversation happens with Yoham. You're up near the wheel. You walk down, you turn because the entry to below decks is like right under that, right? And Robert is there next to the entryway, with a rope in his hands that he's mending. And he kind of grunts at you. And
Third grunt.
third grunt, right? Just kind of grunts at you. And you step past him or near him, right? And you see his left eyebrow raise. And then for a very brief moment, you feel everything around you just be a little less. And then his eyebrow lowers and everything goes back to feeling normal.
You make me depressed with his eyebrow?
This is not something you have felt from him before, but I think in your capacity as an adventurer, this is not a feeling that you would be unfamiliar with. Robert's a null.
A null.
He can project
Like a nullian?
He can project an
like the
area.
alien?
He can project an area. It's like his force of will, his presence. He can project an area that just dampens things. That just makes magic less
I want him
around
to
him.
be a shadow. I want that. Yes.
He's
I want
basically
him.
the draw still version of what a monk is. And you look at this wiry, very nondescript, doesn't like
Why did you
talk.
let me go for Johan when we had this guy?
You said
That's
you
what you
wanted to go
wanted.
for Yoham. That's not to say that Yoham doesn't
I
have
didn't know
anything special.
I didn't know this guy was freaking projecting emotions on people.
You might not know what Chella can do either. You haven't
Well,
gotten
now I need to
there.
go find out. What does Chella do?
You want to go? You ignore Robert. Go talk to Chella.
Hold on,
You
look,
walk up to this
Robert,
guy,
Robert,
he makes you
Robert.
depressed, and you
Don't
leave
move.
without talking to him.
I love it.
Don't move. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Okay, you go downstairs. You find Chella is in.
I kick in the door. Chella, do you have any special abilities?
She looks at you. She clucks her tongue. She walks over to you, and she kind of like, you see, she kind of like pats your stomach, and she says, "Oh no!" And you look down, and there's a little rip across the front of your tunic, and you see, she kind of like does almost kind of like a magician like fleur of her hand, and you see in her hand instantly is a needle and thread, and she just, "May I?"
Yes.
And it's like a minute and a half, and she has your tunic perfectly patched and
Darned.
fixed up.
All right. Never mind. Chella. I mean, imagine if that was a dagger. Dead a billion times.
A dagger? Me? Kill someone? Oh, no.
Oh my god, why does no one want to fight on this? All right. Thank you, Chella.
She is a sweet soul.
I go back to Robert.
But again, not to say she doesn't have special abilities.
I go back to Robert and I say, Robert, do you want to make more money? And are you prepared to fight?
Who we fighting?
Not sure yet, but we are being sent on another mission to retrieve or destroy some possible cannons that were stolen. And we're given some extra money for the work. And I think it's an opportunity to promote you.
I won't go fighting random folk. But I'll
Fair. Neither will I.
protect the others. That's what you need me to do.
That'll do.
Alright then.
Sweet.
Just
Cool.
I don't know how to talk to this man.
He's just sitting there. He's just sitting there like braiding rope in front of you.
All right, well,
Robert,
cool.
real talk, Robert does probably 60% of the work on the ship. Chella probably does another like 25%.
So I'm gonna take the ship by making this guy a fighter.
Well, okay, so the thing is you're not like having them be a retainer doesn't mean that they're not still a sailor, right? Like they're still a sailor. They're still going to be performing all of their duties on the vessel. You're basically just saying, "Hey, when the time comes, we expect you to fight."
Okay, that's less concerning.
Non-retainers or non-combat retainers, when the time comes, they hide or run.
Fair. Okay. Cool. Then yeah, I will attempt to train Robert into a Nolian Shadow.
Nolly Shadow. All right, we've got our little crew. Here is
Ambrosia.
our team, and here is the retainer team. Yay!
Hell yeah.
Robert's gonna garrote someone with that fucking rope. I swear to God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay, cool. Indy and Uvik probably get back to the vessel pretty early. And it's about probably a little before noon that the resupply comes in. A cart is brought up with a bunch of foodstuffs, some various soap, stuff like that. Things for the actual vessel. There's a crew that comes by that is taking a look over the Scorpion itself, right? A little bit of cleaning that is done on the hull. And just general repair. There's a lot of rope that is brought in. There's a lot of extra random shit supplies. There's a mage that comes by, that comes and looks at the Hummer, right? And verifies that everything is still good and working there. And that mage also brings in the potions, the health potions. So I think the party is up to 6 health potions now. And a little afternoon, you're all ready to go. Except Bansii's not back.
Hey, Stab Bansii's not back. She's still wandering the city right now.
And then it's a little in the afternoon and Bansii's not back. And then it's late afternoon and Bansii's not back. And it is early evening as Bansii rolls up with Aurelia in tow.
Where have you been, ma'am?
The city. I got lost.
We didn't get lost. We came straight here. What are you talking about, got lost?
You were my first stop this morning when I left.
This morning? You didn't talk to me until like an hour ago.
Which is how I got lost.
Oh.
Man, she straight up Zorro'd.
Well, not my fault. She just walks onto the fucking boat.
But I did find her. Did you
Fair
guys hear the cannon fire?
There's cannon
I
fire?
did hear the cannon fire.
No. What happened?
I don't know. I was hoping we could get an explanation.
Who's shooting cannons?
Higgins, did you happen to hear the cannon fire?
Sorry, I was distracted. But yes, I did. And I would like to share my information with you.
Fantastic.
I sit them down and I shared my information with them in depth. All of my conspiracy theories.
Okay.
While cooking them a delicious meal.
Yeah,
cookie.
It's dinner, right? Question.
Just cookies, yes.
Just cookies. Question. You've already kind of talked to the current crew. Aurelia and Blackbird have kind of been added since then. Is this information that you are sharing with the two of them? Or are you trying to bums the word?
Sketchy. I don't know that I want to share that with her yet.
Up to you.
I don't know. I don't trust her.
Okay, so how about you share it with us
Well,
while
fuck
you're
it.
cooking? We'll
Share
be
it with everyone.
downstairs.
Yeah, we'll just share with everyone. It's fine. What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen? I honestly don't
Famous
know.
last words.
What's the worst? Yeah, there's at least from the crew, from people like Blackbird, Aurelia, there's general like, oh wow, that's wild. You know, kind of. There's a general shock.
Again, I don't have proof, but just
Man, I
based on
can't
what I
believe
was
it's true.
seeing and the way people were acting, these are the conclusions I have formed.
Yep.
Well, there's not really shit we can do about it, so I guess it, at least for now, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's where I
So-
was at with it too. I couldn't really stop it from happening, and even if I could, it would just put us in a terrible position. So
it's just a faction of
Yeah,
the government
saying something.
firing another?
seems that way. Insert Jeremy's explanation of politics within Capital, but it sounds like the Fulcrum and the Navy do not get along well, but the Fulcrum doesn't really have an interest in fighting, being that they are merchants and nobles and such, or non-nobles?
Non-nobles.
But they're money. They're non-nobles with money. So the Navy
if they're not
doesn't
interested
like them because they're not the establishment.
I
But
would
if they don't
say
want to fight, sorry, go ahead.
no. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
If they don't want to fight, why would they fire on Navy ships?
I don't think they did.
Well,
I
wasn't
think
it
the Navy
the
fired
Admiral?
on the Fulcrum ship after creating a false flag attack on the warehouse with the burning cart and explosives.
For clarity, and you would know this, Higgins. I mean, all of you would know this. There would be no reason for a Fulcrum vessel to be in the naval dockyards. If this was a Fulcrum attack, then they would have had to have taken a naval vessel and sailed it in here, or they would have had to disguise one of their own vessels as a naval vessel and sailed it into the naval docks. Because there's, like, the two factions are staunchly opposed. There would be no way that a clearly Fulcrum vessel would make, like, there's no merchant vessels in the
allowed
naval
in.
yards, right? Like, There's
Yeah.
the civilian yard, like docks for merchants, right? The naval yard is for naval vessels. There's no reason why they would be there. So if this actually happened the way that it seems like they're trying to portray it, then this is a act of sabotage as the Fulcrum, not an open attack, but this would be the Fulcrum sneaking their way in to do this. Alternatively, if you don't believe that's what happened, then the Navy just fired upon and sank one of its own vessels to create a false flag attack to pin on the Fulcrum.
Which
That's my conclusion.
Which I do think is probably valid. I also think that our mission itself, and Bansii will say that is highly suspect, and we should proceed with caution because it would be very convenient to sink our mission for the same reason. For political reasons.
Send us to fight some people because of cannons, which the Navy is the only ones who have, and just so happens that their enemy suddenly has cannons.
Right.
Getting the reports, one of the reports talked about possible pirates in the area. Could they have cannons?
We should definitely
Not
investigate
typically.
that, but not typically.
It's not impossible.
Pirates are
but it's
definitely
unlikely.
not supposed to have cannons. They are not supposed to have them at all.
Are there any missing Navy ships
They
or
are
whatnot
not
that they could
supposed
have
to have
taken them?
them.
Bansii would look very, very closely at him.
So that is the thing. Actually, I think we've already discussed this a little bit. Like, Indy's not from Capital, so Indy probably doesn't know like the specific ins and outs and is fairly new to this. So actually, I'm gonna shut up, and if the other players want to explain what they feel like they know about cannons and the Navy and shit like that, then they can do so. So I'm zipping it. Sorry. My bad.
Could they
My
not have
understanding-
taken cannons from Navy ships? Like boarded a Navy ship?
So my understanding is that the Navy, the Capital Navy, are kind of the leading creators of firearm weaponry in the world, right? And in first creating cannons, they kept it under heavy lock and key how to create them. And anytime a Navy ship was taken or lost or stolen from, Capital would send their Navy to aggressively hunt those cannons down and recover them at any cost to ensure that cannons never were outside of Capital's Navy. Is it perfect? Probably not. I'm sure there's some that got through here and there, or other people have figured out how to make some, but generally Capital tries its damnedest to prevent anyone else from having cannons.
You, Vic?
Okay.
Do pirates have cannons?
They're not supposed
They're
to.
not supposed to have cannons.
You, Vic? Do pirates have cannons?
It may have at one point been possible to keep a low enough of profile that if you manage to maybe collect something in the spoils of battle and slip off into one of the many seas to actually make it out with some heavier artillery.
Were you able to?
Me?
You?
Me specifically? No.
Your
no, of
crew
course-
specifically?
maybe they might have gotten a hold of one.
I walk up behind Uvik and I just put 2 rocky hands on his shoulders and kind of lean down. Uvik.
Is that why your crew disappeared?
Look, no, the reason why my crew was displaced was we were acquiring some riches from a ne'er-do-well, and we got found out. And when I came to after the counterattack, our ship was gone, the crew was scattered, and I was left to wander the coastline until I made it to capital.
That was not
Is
an
it-
answer.
Robbing ne'er-do-wells is what she said.
That
Is
was,
it
as far
possible
as
that
he
we-
knows.
Is it possible that we're going to find your crew?
Here in Little Ix?
Yeah.
No, the target
I wasn't
of this mission.
expecting. I wasn't expecting to. I was hoping when I enlisted at Capital, I would kind of stay around Capital. The fact that I kind of got shipped out here was unforeseen inconvenience.
Hmm.
Look, my
Another
idea
reason
was
to
if
be
I got
cautious.
in with people that also have boats around Capital, I could be on the waters around Capital and maybe find my boat.
I see.
Seems to have not worked very well, if I'm being just honest.
What can
We'll
you do?
see.
He's on a boat. There's other boats. It's just not the right
Also, you
boats
did
yet.
never answer if you actually had cannon. So let's circle back to that.
There seems to be no
The
escaping.
narwhal was outfitted with one singular cannon.
The narwhal!
The narwhal.
Is it named that because it had?
Did you guys
one
hide it
cannon?
in a horn? That'd be really cool.
Unfortunately, there's
I'm
not
very
that big of a
disappointed in you.
motif on the narwhal.
That'd be funny.
The
My
figurehead.
disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
We have a figure. Well, the thing is, you don't want to be. Look, you don't want to be that noticeable. Like, if you're up on you pop over the horizon, and we've got like a narwhal themed capstan and narwhal themed, mast and a narwhal themed figurehead, then people are going to be able to point us out at any range and be like, those fuckers.
Like black sails? That would be bad.
You don't fly the colors.
Interesting.
That's where you just say, we are not the narwhal. We are
Ambrosia's in the
water
corner writing notes. You don't fly the colors.
Now, would the Dwarven Kingdom have any information on cannons or anything like that?
No. It's actually a pretty new thing. Dwarven
Okay.
kingdoms would vary in the degree of technology that they use across the world. But also dwarves in this setting are very different from normal dwarves. So they have some of the
They
same
seem more
tendencies,
religious.
but they also care about things in a different way.
Mhm.
Because they're still, miners, they still live in mountain holds, that kind of thing. But they're also literally made of rock and gemstone. So they don't need the same things that a lot of fantasy dwarves need.
Mhm.
And they can go about doing things in a much different way. So their technology tends to be less gunpowder oriented and more like, how do I say this in a not setting things up way? you're more likely to find a series of crystals carefully crafted and aligned to create a laser beam that will carve through rock tunnels with the dwarves than you are a cannon, basically.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
if it makes you feel any better, it's not like us having one on deck. Like, we know how to make them. Like, if you risk taking that thing apart, it's very likely you're not going to get it back together. So, you just put shit in the front of it and make the things go.
I mean, you would also know, Yuvik, that the things need fucking maintenance. A shit ton of maintenance. You fire them a couple of times and they're liable to break. The crew of the Narwhal would use the cannon more as a intimidation factor than actually a cannon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You just roll that up over just seeing a barrel kind of come over the deck top. You're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be firing on your goods anyway.
Suspicious.
What's suspicious? I'm sorry.
Suspicious.
You're
Our
suspicious?
whole mission.
Oh, you're
Our whole
suspicious
mission.
about the whole mission. All right. Speaking of the mission, it's 10:20.
Yeah.
Some of you people have bedtimes, unfortunately. So let's kick things up a very little notch so that we can get somewhere, so that we can stop. And I think I have a decent little place for it. It's not going to be a big thing, but you guys got to leave, right? You got to get out of here. It's a day to a day and a half trip just to get to where you're going. Which means it's 2 to 3 days there and back, and you only have 4 days. So you have limited time to get there, figure out what the fuck is going on, handle it if you can, and get out of Dodge if you can't, right? So towards the end of that evening, you have to put out and start heading out of harbor, and as you do, it takes a little bit of navigating because there is a veritable armada being assembled in the harbor of Poso. You have been there. You've been on the vessel in the docks for the better part of the day. You've had some of your own dealings to deal with, right? But there's been a lot of activity. There's been a lot of people coming and going, and towards the end of the day, you can see kind of like the beginnings of a armada being assembled in the harbor of Poso as the Navy prepares a response to this attack, this attempted sabotage by the Fulcrum. And it is with that backdrop that you sail out of the harbor and out to sea northeasterly towards Aqua Sierra and Bejaqueta. It is a quiet trip, and it will allow for a day of downtime activities. So we'll handle those the next time we play. We'll do some like quick rolls of the next time we play. But before kind of like, so we'll do a little bit of going into the future and then stepping in the past. But before we kind of like end for tonight, just kind of set you all a quick concept. It is late evening. It is late evening. So it's potentially going to be the middle of the night or early morning when you arrive, when you begin to approach the sound. And Indy, I think something very specifically that you would have noted in the information that was given to you is that entering into the sound, just sailing into the sound, is potentially going to be a problem if stealth is your aim. Because entering into the Sound, you are pretty clearly visible to all of the little dotted settlements around the area, right? So that might be
during
something.
the trip, during the trip, I shared all the information I found, including, the limited amount of people there. That's mostly adventurers or explorers, and they're not any single one faction. It's multiple factions.
So with the knowledge that if you want stealth to be your modus operandi, you might have to weigh harbor outside of the Sound, or weigh anchor outside of the Sound, and like try to sneak into one of the settlements or something like that to find out information. Knowing that, we're just gonna flip on over here, and we're gonna give you a little. This is not 100%. This is just gonna be kind of like a general idea of what you're looking at. Is something like this. It is a sheltered location. This inlet of water on the western side of Aqua Sierra, and it actually like points up to an area, and there's this kind of like short-ish river going to a pretty decently sized lake. But what you don't necessarily see this, right? Depending on how you all decide to actually infiltrate the area, or whether you just sail into it. But this is kind of like the environment that you're going into. It's a little rocky. It's a bunch of like rocky outcroppings,
Finally.
hills, etc., etc. But lots of good terrain for Higgins to be hiding in. And specifically, there's a bunch of these tiny little settlements. Like, here's this small little 3-building settlement that maybe a family or two live in. And there's a bunch of these little places dotting the entire coastline of the Sound, rather than like one town or one city, right? There's a bunch of these little disparate homesteads, with a couple of like larger, this is clearly a couple of families live over here, or this is where the market is, and they actually kind of like set things up. So I will ask, because I think it's an interesting piece of information for you all to know, if you decide to do one thing or the other. Are you planning on sneaking in, like weighing anchor outside of the Sound and like hoofing it over land, which might take a little bit longer than just sailing into the Sound? Or are you just going to go in and see what happens?
Remind me, is the Sound where we think the cannons are, or are we just going here for
information?
Yeah,
so this, what was reported as Beheketa, is this Sound, right? And the vessel was fired upon here, but they didn't give you any specifics on this little rinky-dink settlement is the one that... So you have no idea of where the cannons might, if they exist, might have been from, because there wasn't any specifications. The patrol boat just reported that they were fired upon when they entered the Sound.
But our ship doesn't look like a... Does our ship look like a large Navy vessel?
You don't have to be flying naval colors, no. Like, there's every opportunity for you all to be like,
you don't always have to fly the colors.
We're just a place. You don't have to. You don't always have to fly the colors. Yeah.
And all the information I've received says that there shouldn't be cannons here. That they're not necessarily hostile to us. So it doesn't make sense that the Bahaketa to be firing on us.
I say we go in and we just don't have our Navy stuff up, or our Navy outfits on.
Okay.
Well, we're like, if people start asking, we're gonna need a story if we're gonna try to hide our naviness. Like, why are we here?
Adventurer group or explorer group, because there's a bunch of factions there.
And
that
an
are
explorer
doing that.
group with a what do we have? It's not a galley.
We sell instruments.
No.
We're,
Oh, the Woodwind instruments.
Oh,
we're
God.
here to talk about their extended warranty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Go ahead.
Settlers. Literally any assortment of things.
Sure. So I'm going to ask this. Is the general vibe sail in with a story? Because that's what I feel like we're leaning towards.
I just don't think I'm very good at hiding, but that's me. You guys are much better. You maybe could hide me.
My counter argument to not sneaking because you're not good at sneaking is the other approach is we roll up in a boat. And if they don't want people around regardless of whether they're Navy or not and they're shooting at everything, our boats is going to get some cannonballs to the face.
Yes. But if we sneak in,
So,
like, it's a small group, like, there's only around 100 people there. Most people at least recognize one another, so I don't know how we could just walk in and be like, hey, we've been here the whole time. Or,
well, we don't have to be there the whole time.
but how
We
else
can
would we get
approach
there?
on foot.
Is
Well,
it-
we park the boat a couple miles downstream, and then we approach by foot. And then we could just be a couple of mercenaries looking for work. We could be
do I know of other
traveling
settlements in the area?
traders.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily nearby, but the idea that there would be other people coming and going from this place is not crazy. Definitely not. Like, people walking up out of nowhere, it would be more reasonable for people to show up on a boat, but people walking up out of nowhere would, it'd be like, holy shit, where'd y'all come from? But if you were like, oh, well, we were working down in, like, other settlement name, which you would have because of the maps that you were given, people would be like, you walked all the way from up there, from down there? What the fuck? But it wouldn't be, like, completely unbelievable.
Okay. Another thing against approaching on foot is the wilderness is pretty dangerous. There's reports of chimeras, thorn dragons, and else things on the east and west coasts of what is it, Aguacera?
Sounds fun.
Odie.
But those are valid. If you guys feel comfortable rolling up with the boat, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to voice the concern that if they're firing on stuff, we don't really have defenses for the boat against cannon fire.
True.
All right. I'm gonna
It'll be a quick
executive
trip.
decision.
We'll just have to run.
We'll just be like, well, we
They
went
do
there
have
and they
cannons.
shot at us. They
We're
do have
running.
cannons. Answer received.
We
I
can also
think-
hope that they're. Sorry, I was about to say we could also go in and if they're bad at using cannons, they will fire their second we're within range, and all we have to do is turn back and we're out of range. If they were wise, they'll wait till we're in range a good bit, so even if they turn around, they can still hit us.
I don't know if that's a pro or a con. Like you just gave like it could be this, which would be good, or
You
it
gave
could be
Jeremy a
this,
great
which is
idea.
really
Shut up,
bad.
I'm in character, and I forget that the guy that puts the things together is listening in.
Like I haven't already thought of that. Anyways, what I'm gonna make an executive decision and say that from a player standpoint, it feels like we're not 100% sure. So we already have the opportunity to do some downtime. We clearly need to like mull over what our entry strategy is gonna be. So we'll do that. We'll play again in 2 weeks, and y'all can figure out what you want to do for your downtime. And I can explain to Mark what the fuck I mean by downtime activity, because Mark has not been exposed to downtime activities yet. And we've
only had one.
We'll chat about all that as we while away the next 2 weeks, and then hopefully we'll have some decisions as we come back. And I am gonna go deal with this kitty, because he is all the fuck over me. So that is the end of our session. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see y'all next time as the party enters into the Beheketa Sound and tries to figure out what the fuck is going on, whether or not this is a setup or not, which seems to be partially the suspicion, especially after some of the stuff that has gone down in Poe. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.